Hi, welcome, I'm Hannah. Today I'm going to be making my own better version of the disappointing Juvia's Place Taupes palette, and then I'm going to use it on my eyes to create this look. I already kind of went on about a lot of intro stuff earlier, so I'm not sure how smooth this transition is going to be, but let's just get right into it. Today is International Women's Day that I'm filming, so happy International Women's Day. To celebrate, I decided to wear a shirt that says girls. It doesn't really offer an opinion, just kind of a statement. Girls, cool. About a month ago, I posted using the Taupes by Juvia's Place. I had gotten this in a trend mood box, but I had wanted it for a while, even though it's not really my thing. But I've had such good experience with Juvia's Place formula in the past, and their palettes are so inexpensive, and I thought it might be kind of like a nice, cool addition to my collection because I do go for very colorful or warm tone shadows. But when I used this in that video, I was so disappointed. I just felt like everything was super lackluster. The look, it turned out nice, but it wasn't very exciting. It did kind of take like a lot of work to get there. So what I wanted to do today was to compare this to some of my single shadows. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get like exact dupes for all of them because, as I said, this isn't my usual color story. But if I don't have exact dupes, that's fine too, because these clearly aren't colors that I tend to reach for, and I'm sure the similar ones I have in my collection will be ones that do suit me better, because that's why I bought them. I made this little 9-pan before. I haven't swatched any of these in this context yet, so I'll do that in a moment, but that's a little preview of what I'm working with. I guess I'll just start by swatching this one out again, just as a little reminder. Maybe then I'll swatch that against some of them, or I'll swatch as I go. I'm not really sure. This palette also doesn't have any shade names, so that's annoying, but okay. So we're gonna swatch the first metallic shade, second metallic shade, third metallic shade. So one of them is a little bit more goldy. The one in the middle is kind of more of like a true taupe, and then the one on the my left, is it your left too? I don't know. The one that's more brownie is more brownie. None of them knock my socks off. And I noted in that video that the pans look hard panned after like using them just a little bit, you know, when it's like really like pushed down like that. Okay, and then we'll swatch the first matte that's on the top row. It's kind of more like a peanut butter color, more of a cool brown, and more of a gray brown. None of these are very good either. I think that more like peanut butter color is the best quality out of all of them. This one in the middle, and also this one, it just feels like they don't swatch with enough pigment. It really just feels like something went wrong with this palette. Okay, I'll try to like go in some kind of order. I think the one that I have that, I mean, it's funny looking at this, that first metallic is way more gold than I was remembering it, and also way more gold than it looks in the pan, so I was kind of pulling based on how it looks in the pan. But I'm just gonna try to do what I have pulled that's kind of most comparable. So this one's Glamour from Colored Rain. Yeah, really pretty light taupe metallic. And I can already tell I like this formula so much better than these. The next three that I pulled are probably the most similar to that center metallic, that more taupey one. This one is Amazon Basin from Colored Rain. This is Mystic Moon Pie from Divina, one of my favorite shades ever. And this one is ACS 17 from Adept. Okay, so we have the Colored Rain shadow. Much deeper, but super pretty. The Divina shadow. Do you see that shift? That's so beautiful. And then we have the Adept shadow. And that one's also a deeper color. Yeah, it's interesting because I imagined doing this process that my shadows would be much closer to these, but they're not, and it's totally fine. I also think in a palette, like off the bat with this, the depth of the shades are all so similar, and that's why it's hard to get a good look with them also. And even with just these 4 metallics, there's so many more looks that could be done than with these. The last metallic that I've pulled that I think might look more like that warm, like that almost pinkier one, is Troops from Sydney Grace. So pretty. For the mattes, I pulled this kind of like lightish gray that I don't think really correlates to anything, but I would probably use it as like a transition color if I were to use this palette. So this is Ethereal from Divina. Definitely leans more purpley, but it would go nice with these cool tones. I thought this one might fill in for that most brownie matte, and this conveniently is called Peanut Butter from Sydney Grace. Yeah, and I think that's pretty similar in tone to that one right there and this down here. I think my next two might be kind of interchangeable. These colors are very similar. Maybe this one's a little bit more gray in it, but I think this is just like a little bit of a weaker version of this one. So the two that I have, this is Cool Brown from Sydney Grace, and this is Take the Lead from Colourpop. So this is Sydney Grace, and this is Colourpop. So these are all the shades that I pulled, and I can tell you it's a way more pretty and usable palette than this is, but the one change I think I'm going to make, just for my own ease of use, I wasn't the biggest fan of this Adept shade. I find some of the plain shimmer formula from them, it's just not like reflective or metallic enough for me. So I'm going to take that one out. And the thing that this palette really lacks is depth. So while we already have some more depth here, I want to add in Beyond from Sydney Grace, which is a super deep dark brown. And I think that really rounds out the palette. So we took out that one. That's our little color story, so cute. So I did some rearranging, and this is what I got from my cute little single shadow taupe palette. I really, really like it. We have 4 shimmers and 5 mattes. I like that I know from the swatches that some of the shimmers go a little like purpley. We do have that transition that's pretty warm. We have a cooler transition. I really like the range of shadows here and the fact that I have this deep matte. So again, to compare it to that, this one's so much better. I have like a single shadow comparison video up using the Sugar Pill Capsule 2 palette, and I think when I do these in the future, I probably will do them more in that style where I do one of each eye just to compare them. But I think in this case, it's less dupes and more similar vibes. And also because I've already done a look on the channel with the Taupes palette, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my own little pretty baby on both of my eyes. First, I'm going to take Ethereal from Juvia into my crease. Oh, I didn't put any primer on, hold on. Okay, I'm primed with my Anastasia primer, and we are good to go. The shade is very powdery. I'm not always the biggest fan of grays on my eyes, so we'll see how this goes. I'm just trying to take this pretty high in my crease so I have room to play underneath. So still in my crease, but underneath that, I'm going to take the Lead from Colourpop to deepen that up. I don't actually love the quality of the shadow. It's pretty old in my collection, and because it's gray, it never got much use. I think we can make it work for now. I'm taking Ethereal again just to blend. And next I'm going to take Sydney Grace Beyond on my outer V. This shade is so much deeper than what I normally do. It's been a while since I've used a shadow this deep. They kind of intimidate me because they could ruin a look so quickly if like you can't get the blend right or something. But I really like it right now. I want to do a little bit of Sydney Grace Troops right where that deep brown is meeting the lid.
What we do here is go back.
And since I can't help myself, Mystic Moon Pie on the rest of the lid. Incredible. The shitty thing is I already did my base, so you'd think we'd be able to go right onto the lower lash line, but got a little bit of fallout here. Give me a second. I'm seeing now that I'm actually going to be able to use every of the 9 shades in this look. That's kind of cool. I'm going to take Sydney Grace Peanut Butter, that warm brown, and just buff it as like a transition on my lower lash line. It is so different than all the other colors in this look, but I do think the warmth brightens my face a bit more than just having everything being so cool and gray. I also think it's kind of fun to mix with like cool and warm tones in the same look. Next, I'm going to take Colored Rain Amazon Basin and use that on most of my lower lash line. I love me a good shimmery lower lash line. I'm going to use Sydney Grace Cool Brown on the outer lower lash line. And finally, I'm going to take Colored Rain Glamour on my inner corner and kind of wrap it around to the lower lash line a little bit. Alright, I'm going to pop on some mascara and eyeliner and be right back. So that's everything comparing my custom palette to the Juvia's Place Taupes palette. I'm actually so happy with this palette, and I think I might try to leave it together for a little bit. I want to try to remember going forward also how easy it is to look at something that you don't have exactly in your collection and feel like that's a reason to get it. You know, I need to have more trust in myself that the things that I've already gotten for myself are the things that I really want, and the things that I don't have, perhaps I don't have them for a reason. It feels very normal in the beauty space to constantly be looking to upgrade, constantly be hoping that the next thing that launches is going to be the better version of what you already have. And I just need to try to have confidence that what I have is already really good. And besides, when it comes to something like this color story, I didn't need to have this to be inspired by it. I've had all these shades for a long time. I could have made this palette months ago. So if you got 3 things out of watching this, I hope it's that this palette is trash. Don't buy color stories you don't like just because you don't have them. And Mystic Moon Pie, out of this world. So thank you so much for being here. If you like this, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a like and subscribe. There's way more single shadow content and using what you already have type of content to come. And that's everything for today. Bye.